Now, how does that look? I am Art Jochum, Arthur F. Jochum, and I was retired as a major in the United States Air Force. I made major in 1964, and so I was a major the last 6 years that I was on active duty. When the war started in 1941, a lot of us were thinking about what we would do if we wanted to go to the military during World War II. And at that time, I heard that they were teaching fellas to fly Piper Cubs at Norfolk Airport. So I went out there and got into this, they called it a CPT course. Civilian pilot training.
He is the American youth, our strength and our hope.
I just turned 18 at that. It was 1942.
And don't let his casual chatter mislead you, for his thoughts are deeply serious and he dreams of a bright tomorrow, of his new world in the sky. Listen.
Well, Tom, what's the deal? The Army Air Corps enlisted reserve. There's nothing to it. If you're more than 17 and less than 18, you can get in.
Yeah, the same with the Navy.
Sure, and you don't have to be a genius either. Just a few qualifications like your parents' consent, mental and physical tests, but nothing very complicated.
Gee, I can see me now. All dolled up in gold and silver. Gold and silver what? Gold bars here, silver wings here, and hat cocked over. Just like Gable. I'll bet Uncle Sam can hardly wait. Yeah, neither can I.
I went in at 42. I went in well, I actually went in a week before that, and they sent me to Kansas City, and I spent from 7 o'clock that morning to 11 o'clock that night going through all this rigmarole of physical training, many tests where you're taking mathematical tests and all kinds of tests to see how smart you were.
Tell the folks what a dodo is.
Sir, a dodo is an extinct non-flying bird of which I am a prime example.
A prime example indeed, but don't let that discourage you.
A lot of it was physical. You had to be physically perfect. There can't be anything wrong with you physically. And mentally, maybe 2 or 3 hours of tests.
They pry and probe and search. They reveal strong points and expose the weak ones. An unsteady hand discovered here can prevent a disaster 10,000 feet up.
Oh, I went ahead and did as well as I could on it, and I must have passed it because they put me in, and they swore me in at 11 o'clock that night.
Bombardier, pilot, navigator. And now, does our eager cadet go sailing into the stratosphere with wind roaring past his ears? No, not yet.
World War I. All guys in the Army or Navy Air Corps went through primary training in this airplane because you could do slow rolls, snap rolls, implements, cartwheels, everything that a fighter pilot wanted to learn how to do. In this airplane, you could learn how to do it. And I'd see how many slow rolls I could do and still keeping it right on Mount Diablo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I usually got up to about 8 in a row.
How long would you say it should take to turn a cadet into an effective combat airman?
In us, they said, well, we're going to give them 4 months of prep school. Then we're going to give them 3 months of flying Piper Cubs. Then we're going to give them 3 months of pre-flight school. Then they're going to give them advanced flying Stearmans for about 4 months. Then we're going to go to Corpus Christi or Pensacola and fly in bigger airplanes and learn to be a fighter pilot. I was in it for 15 months, and I still had 4 months to go. And I would have never gotten on active duty at a time where I would have been on fighting the war. Coming into Wichita University, which is a small school, about maybe 2,000 students is all. I was going through to pick up my subjects in September of '46. I was walking through and I had a Navy flight jacket on. Captain in the Army Air Corps hollered at me, or says, hey, I want to talk to you. He says, I got something that you might be interested in. And I said, what's that? He says, well, you probably don't know this, but we're starting a new service. I said, what, a new service? Yeah, we're going to call it the United States Air Force. No one knows about it right now yet, but they'll know about it. So he asked me if I was interested. Well, I'd been flying airplanes in the Navy and so forth, and the Air Force sounded like a real good idea for me.
Won't go gallivanting off into the ozone.
So I said, sure. I signed my name. He said, you just made it $35 a month. I said, this was in 1950. $35 was a lot of money. So I was getting 65 in the GI Bill. Now I'm getting 35 in that. So I'm making $100 a month just to go to school.
Dick the Bombardier, like Tom the pilot, is handled with more care than a prize yearling being pointed for the Kentucky Derby.
After 2 years of college, I said, I got to do something else. I looked in the paper, and they needed salespeople at 3rd and Topeka. So that wasn't far, 4 or 5 blocks. I walked up there, and I said, you're looking for salespeople? And that guy says, yeah. I said, well, this looks like a dance studio. What do you need salespeople for? He said, well, we'll teach you how to dance, but you have to be able to sell that dancing. He said, we're going to give you $1 a day. That's all you're going to get, but you're going to learn how to dance. I said, well, I already know how to dance. In fact, I was a pretty good dancer. I'd go out to these places in Wichita and dance with all the girls and had a good time. So, well, we got to teach you how to do the rumba, the tango, the samba, the waltz, jitterbug, and all that. I said, oh, okay. I sold the hell out of it.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway. Like the lazy ocean hugs the shore, hold me close, sway me more.
I was going out there to school 3 times a week from 8 to 10. I was decent dancing, so about 60 hours a week. So you know how much time I was putting in. I wasn't able to keep up with that 2 subjects, money and banking and marketing. I was making D's. So I was married to Joe, and I said, I better quit school, quit teaching dancing and get these 2 subjects up to a, at least a C. And in '49, I'm on at the campus, and a major hollered at me. Everybody knew everybody in Wichita because it was a little school. And he even knew my first name. Art Jochum, I'll talk to you. Okay, sir. I go over there, the major. He was in charge of the ROTC program. He said, how you doing? I said, well, I'm doing pretty good. Another year to go to get my degree. He said, well, you get that degree. He said, but I just thought I'd tell you something. What's that? They opened navigator training in the Air Force. I said, oh, I didn't even know it was closed. Yeah, all they've been training now is pilots. Now we're going to start training navigators because of the Berlin airlift and a few other things that was going on in this world that they needed navigators.
The navigator has been compared with the quarterback of a football team. He charts and calls the plays. He must get his combat team to the enemy's goal. He must get them home again.
He said, after you get your degree, if you feel like going on active duty, put in for navigator training. I said, okay, sir, thank you. And I walked off. I never thought too much about it at that time. Well, I started to be a pilot in the Navy, and I didn't make it. I was up taking code, and I get this Jochum, Cadet Jochum, reported base ops over the speaker. So I went down and reported base ops. So where the hell you been? I said, I was up taking code. So we've been looking for you. And I said, oh yeah? He said, yeah, we got an airplane sitting out there with a check pilot in it waiting to take you on a ride. And it was about 90, 95, 100 at surface that day. So this guy's waiting for me for about a half an hour. Well, I knew, first of all, right away that he wasn't gonna like me. And he was an officer and I was a cadet. So anyway, I got in the airplane, we went out, and I shot 6 landings and I made every one of them perfect. At the end of the runway, it said Cavanagh Field. Well, that's where I was at, Cavanagh Field. So I started on the airplane that way. And I thought, I'm supposed to go with that set of pylons and then cut it into the traffic pattern, so forth. So I said, just a minute, sir, I'm gonna go over the set of pylons. He said, you're gonna what? I said, well, I'm supposed to go with that set of pylons. He said, oh yeah. He said, well, I got it. Oh, you're gonna fly it? And he said, yeah, you're finished for the day. If you break a course rule, it's an automatic down. And I broke a course rule by starting out in that direction and not going right on over there. The funny part of it is, I was riding in that airplane and that pilot was flying it. And I didn't have to worry about flying that airplane no more. I felt good about that. That's what I was from then on as a navigator. I didn't have to worry about that airplane no more. When I got my wings in 51, was this wing right here, and it was the only navigator wing they had. It had the globe right there. Then, the Air Force had this insignia. It was a brand new Air Force. It wasn't the Army Air Corps no more, it was the Air Force. And it had this insignia. All right, that insignia was put on these wings, and they were the new navigator wings.